Hello, this is Lisa Hazard and Misty Lore, and we are sure we're all psychic today. But we have with us a special guest. Her name is Marissa. I told you about her in the introduction to season 2. And Marissa is a new friend of mine. She is a reader up at Amethyst Sage. And I want to ask her a question. Misty, do you want to ask her the question?
Yes, I would love to ask her the question. All right, Marissa, do
Yes,
you think we're all psychic?
I do.
You do. All right.
Okay,
Expand
we're on
on
the
that.
same page.
I do. I think that we're all born with these gifts. You just have to open yourself up to them.
Agreed. So, Marissa,
Double agree.
when did you first start realizing that you were working with energy and stuff like that? Were you always aware of it, or is this something that kind of just you came aware of?
It was something I became aware of about last year. But I started in witchcraft about 8 years old.
Okay, what did you do? What happened when you were 8?
I had this babysitter. Her name was Megan. Not going to say a last name, but her mom was a witch, and I was so intrigued by her mom. And she gave me this like spell book or something. I can't remember, but I did this little mirror spell, and I just remember like putting my picture behind the mirror, and I just like wanted to be popular in school.
Oh, were you after that?
I wasn't. I. It was like for high school, and yeah, I was popular in high school.
Awesome. Well, hey, it worked for you.
So
It worked.
it did.
That's cool. That's cool.
But I've always been an empath, and I always knew that the feeling of other people's energies, but I never knew what it meant.
Yeah, did you know you were different than most people at using it actively or unable to like not use it or you know what I mean? Like you're just always been using it. Did you know it was empathy or did you just figure that out too?
No, I didn't know that it like had a name, but I always knew like the way I didn't want to hang out with my friends anymore. Like, I could never really keep friends for a long time just because I outgrow them, and not in a bad way, but like I'm a to myself kind of person. I don't want to feel like what they feel anymore.
I
If that makes
understand. Yeah.
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah. They're doing one thing and I don't want to do what they're doing anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
I hear you. So
Yeah.
when you go to tell people for the first time that you are a reader at Amethyst Sage or that you do these things, how do they usually react? People you know.
They're like, "Oh, you do that?" No. Yeah,
I'd
no.
like to remind our listeners we're in Alabama.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeehaw.
My one grandma thinks I'm crazy. My other grandma is a white witch, and I've actually talked to her about it. She's like, "I've always known that I was special and this and that." And I'm like, "You are." She's an animal empath.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, cool.
And she knows it too, but my other grandma, she's like because I'm different, and she just like thinks I'm crazy, and she loves me, so it's okay.
That's always a bonus, isn't it? Like, yeah, you get to
Yeah.
learn the things that they don't
You're
approve.
crazy, but I love you.
Yeah, she'll be happy if you bring in some money, I'm sure, no matter how it comes, as long as it's,
Oh
helping
yeah.
people and stuff like that. Actually, if a lot of people
Yeah.
realize that readers are really just helping, most, the
Yeah, like
ethical ones are like here to help people, like
therapists.
feel better and understand themselves, understand their partners, understand their work and what they want and all that. And you do that really well.
Yeah.
So when I talked about you in the introduction podcast, I had said I'd hoped you would talk about shadow work for your podcast. And so how would you, if to someone who doesn't know what shadow work is, how would you describe it to them?
So shadow work is getting to know the dark side of you, the ugly side, the side of all your fears, the side of the things you can't see day to day in yourself because you're not paying attention to them. That's your shadow
Okay.
side.
What is the benefit to you of working with the shadow side?
Oh, it brings out a lot of power to me. I know when I started working with my shadow self, I started getting stronger in my meditations, in my abilities, um, closer to source, the universe, all of that. Definitely power.
So how did you start?
That's what I was gonna ask.
Beat you to it.
So how did I start with shadow work or all of the above? Everything.
Shadow work.
Shadow work in particular. And if everything in between comes up, that's good too.
So basically it kind of started beginning of this year. Through meditation, I mean, getting to know the ugly parts of myself and forgiving myself and learning self-love. So, all right, how I started was I had just left a very toxic relationship, and not as toxic as I had a very toxic past, but leading up to this, just left him and came here and started meditating and getting into myself and realizing the power I have, that we all have, within me. And then I started to just get to know my ugly self, which, come to find out, it's not actually ugly. It's like these human like qualities that we obtain throughout our life.
Like habits, kind of.
Forgiving yourself.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So like what we bring in throughout our life, fears, guilt, negative thoughts, the way you probably not you guys, but I'm saying the way people look at other people and judge them, that's the shadow self. That's getting to know why we have to look within us and what is in us that we are judging that person, like what's in me that I don't like that woman's shirt or her hair, or what is it? It's not my business. It's not my problem, like,
yeah.
Just the.
So that's a really good example, like, because I've heard people say, psychiatrists and psychologists in those fields say if you don't like something in someone else, you probably are like that in some way.
Yep.
So that's like what you're saying kind of reminds me of that. And
It does.
to look at what is causing that, there's a lot of techniques like that is an example. I love that as an example, like judging other people and then looking at yourself. Why did I do that? Why?
It's
and it's hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes it looks at first.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's really hard focusing on your thoughts each day. Like I recommend I don't want to say my patients, right? But I recommend to students that look at your thoughts throughout the day and think about the negative and positive thoughts that you've had and write them down. And, look at the red flags in your emotions. Look at who you're around. Look at who you keep around you, and, bringing like the negativity into your life and stuff, because that it's also like carrying over energy from other people, bringing
Right.
it, like shadow self sucks it in.
What do you think if you were going to give the shadow self like a form, what describe a form of, like, would it be like literally a shadow, like if you were to describe it, follows you?
So like you've seen Peter Pan.
Oh yeah, I love Peter Pan.
His shadow like doesn't want to come back to him, and he's like doing all these little trickster things, and he's running away, and he's like, negative things,
right.
Not negative in the movie, but that's basically what the shadow self is.
Okay. Yeah.
It's rage, it's envy, it's greed, it's selfishness, it's the just like desires,
And what would you say if people, I'm going to ask you, of course, after this, to give us the listeners and me and Misty some techniques. that we might try to practice shadow work with. I've tried some of my own. Misty probably has too. But first, I want to ask, what is the ultimate benefit afterwards? Like, if you, yes, I feel like it's continuous all through your life. It's something you kind of have to go back
Oh
and
yeah,
check and check and check.
you never stop
Every
doing
day.
insanity. Every single day for the rest of your. I know for the rest of my life, I will be doing shadow work because every day there's something new that comes along. It's not just getting rid of past um, repressed emotions or, it's right now. It's, I mean, not necessarily future wise, but this is going towards the future. And when I work on my shadow self, I want to be a better me in the future.
I always
And
look at it like this too. Like you're saying, like I always look at it like I put myself in another person's shoes.
yeah,
Like so, I don't be so judgy towards them. Like if somebody's being ugly and a line at the grocery store, I'm just like, well, you know what? They probably had a bad day.
yeah,
I don't need to push that, or you know what I mean. I always try to turn the coin over and just kind of forget
Uh,
it that way, and that helps
Misty,
too.
Misty, how did you get to the point to where you would step into other people's shoes? Like, what made you start
I've
doing that?
always, I've well, I've done it more probably in the past few years, but I've always tried to do it, just because you know what, it makes life easier. It just does.
Yes, it does. Yes, it's a big relief. It's hard to do to look at that stuff that makes us, for example, judge ourselves and judge
yeah,
You know
everything.
what? I
Ugh.
do remember actually when I started, there was I'm not going to say any names, but there was this girl that I went to school with, and she was molested by a family member, and she was very sexual at a young age. And everybody said that she was, oh, she's a hoe and she's a whore and da 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 da. But I mean, did. She was a friend of mine, even though I didn't agree with everything. But they didn't know what happened to her, and they
Right.
right.
didn't know why she acted the way she did, but I knew. And so I think when I started looking at her point of view around things, those kind of things, I thought, well, who wouldn't be like that if they went through what she went through? You know what I mean? I think that's when I started to kind of turn and do it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right.
I think putting yourself in other people's shoes, that's also watching your emotions, watching it's checking yourself. I always say,
Yeah.
I'm like, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Like,
My husband says that too.
Yeah.
and it's like more and more I find myself, used to, it's like, what's the drama? What's the tea? And now it's like, I don't care. I don't got time for it. It ain't my business, and it's not
It's not
like,
worth it. Yeah. Not worth the
it's just
stress.
right. And it's bringing negative energy onto you. And
Yeah.
it's, yeah. And honestly, the shadow self is not all negative. There's those positive aspects that we miss. So sometimes we have our shadow self all the time, but we don't notice it, which is again why I say check yourself. Is your shadow self out right now? Like you need to bring it in and go meditate on it, like,
Yeah.
but the positive aspects are where your shadow self is, like the self love. You might be hiding that, and you need to bring that
Mm-hmm.
out. Why we have to bring that shadow self out of us. But watch him. He's a him. He's a man. Of
Oh, he's a
Of course he
man.
is.
course
Oh,
he's
he's
a
a
man.
man.
Oh my.
The men are always causing the problems.
Mhm. That's why I said that. Yeah. And like you can't get rid of the shadow self. So you have to learn to work with the shadow self. And I mean, love the ugly part of you, you know?
And that's what you said earlier
Yes.
about the
Accept
self-love,
it.
the
Yeah.
the self-love that you
Mhm.
block from yourself. A lot of people are taught that's ego. If you like yourself and praise yourself and blah blah. You know, like a lot of religions teach us, a lot of
Yeah.
people in the older generations, like you don't brag on yourself. And it's not about
Mm-hmm.
bragging on yourself. You're talking to yourself.
No.
You're not telling anybody else anything. So
No, you're
if
accepting yourself.
exactly, and so like I feel like if like when I've looked in and tried to fix things that way, I didn't call it shadow work. I did mindfulness therapy in my 20s and I
Oh
kept
yeah.
that up. It's kind of a similar, the techniques I
Yeah.
think are different, but it's pretty much a very similar thing. And I didn't ever want to be like, I love myself because that's so like
Yeah.
egotistical and I'm not great at this. No, I can't say that or think that. You know, there's a lot of boxes around the way I can think. And I allowed
Oh yeah.
myself to
Yeah,
think by
everybody's
other people
different.
telling me.
Yeah.
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 So it's like
I always
destructuring all that stuff helped a lot.
oh yeah, I always and I tell my students, I'm like, talk to yourself. Even if you're in public, talk to yourself. Like, who cares if people think you're crazy? Like, you are crazy.
No, only if you answer yourself. That's what I say. Only if you answer
I
yourself.
I answer myself
I do
sometimes, so
too.
I'm just gonna be like,
All
but
right, well, we're
I
crazy.
think it's good. I think it's good to talk to yourself and just, that's yourself. You need to love yourself and it's okay. I was like that too. Like I was like, no, I'm not going to be like I love me and me this and no, me. It's been a long time. I haven't thought about me. I've thought about the people in my life who have been bringing me down. I'm bringing myself up. That's
Yeah,
it's
no doubt.
okay to, feel confident and feel sexy. And
Mm-hmm.
even for men, like
Anybody.
especially for men, because it's hard for them to love themselves too in this society that's, you know,
Men
poor
are
women.
repressed. They're
They
told they
are.
can't have
Yeah,
any
you got to
emotions
love
and
yourself first.
yeah,
Yeah,
they can't
I,
display emotions and stuff like that. They're given a lot of
mhm.
yeah,
societal like
they are.
or
They are.
Oh
boundaries.
yeah. And I the reason I've been single for a year and a half is because I want to love myself. I
That's
want to
awesome.
wait for that person who's coming soon, right, Lisa?
That's right.
No.
That's right. You never know.
I
Like
wish I had that at 26, don't you, Lisa?
Well, I was 26 and I met a 21-year-old and I was dumb and married him 2 years
That's what
later.
I'm
Their
saying.
age
Don't
difference
you
is
wish you were
big.
that smart?
At her
You
age,
know?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm like, man, I wish I knew what you know now at my age,
well,
Or at that age. Yeah.
I had to grow up pretty fast. So I, two kids and their dad hasn't been around in 2 years. So,
It's tough, yeah. So
It's
and
all
I imagine
you.
the shadow work you've had to do, like regarding that person
oh yeah.
and the whole situation must have been pretty like looking at yourself and saying, "How did this happen to me?"
Oh, I
And
still do
yeah,
meditations on him and all people who have hurt me. And I do forgiveness meditations all the time. It's really good for the shadow self. Forgiving everybody who's hurt you and, your mom, your dad, your ex-lovers, and I, you know, even for petty little things, those
Yeah.
everything gets repressed. If you do not
Builds up.
handle
Yeah.
situations right away and focus on them, not like intently, but put them in your meditations. It's like prayer, put it in your
Mm-hmm.
meditations and just be like, now what I do is I don't ask for forgiveness. I say I forgive myself because, you know, source is in me. He,
Yeah.
uh, source is everything. It's the universe. It's all of us. It's uh, living through us. And I forgive
Mm-hmm.
myself for thinking the thoughts that I have thought, for doing the things that I've done to people, for wronging people, hurting people in any way. I forgive myself and try not to
That's
do them again.
awesome.
I'd like to kind of dive into some techniques that you might be able to tell our listeners about Marissa, maybe about how they could
Mhm.
start exploring it from like a shadow work perspective instead of like a mindfulness type perspective, a witch perspective, or an energy
Yeah.
perspective.
Right, right. So first thing is monitoring your thoughts. So kind of like law of attraction, manifestation, stuff like that. But if we're not looking at a witchy spiritual standpoint, I mean,
We are though.
looking. Oh yes,
Everything is through the witchy
I didn't know what
lens.
kind of I didn't know what kind of standpoint we're looking at. Well, monitoring the thoughts, like I said, were they negative today? I would recommend getting a journal and writing down your thoughts at the end of the day.
Analyzing.
If you analyzing, yeah, the way you looked at somebody or the way you looked at something, what that says about you, go over. I even say this in my astral travel classes. Go over all of your past traumas. Look over the things that you think, even if you think they're like, no, you're like, no, that's not, I'm fine with that. You might not be. Even I
Yeah.
still go over situations that I've already forgiven myself for, that I've already forgiven them for, that I'm already like, I'm past that. I still go back over it because I'm like, I still think about it sometimes. And if I'm still thinking about it, I'm not over it.
Mm-hmm.
So when
So
you're
go over
examining,
past.
when you're like examining these things, is there like you had mentioned several times meditation? Would you recommend that as a good start? After you, like I say, you do a few days writing down your
Oh
thoughts
yeah.
and go back over it and think about it, and I don't want to think about that, and then
Oh
I think the
Mm-hmm.
meditation, like you said, I think that's where you
yeah.
start like allowing yourself to forgive yourself, kind
Oh
of.
yeah. It's a calming of the mind. It's I've done meditation so much that I don't even have thoughts, and like I can shut them off like that and just like think about one thing at a time. So write, like I said, write down those past traumas, write down your thoughts of the day, and then pick one to go over. Like I said, this is a lifelong process. So you're going to have to go over every single thing each day. We suppress our emotions. Like, this is how bipolar disorder, depression, anxiety, this is how it all comes out because we repress our emotions and they form this little ball in our stomach. And then one day we're like crying because of my kid threw a pizza over across the room. I don't know, but
I don't know. I
Yeah,
feel like
little
I feel like
things.
that's
Yeah.
definitely a manifestation of imbalanced in energy is with some mental
oh
illnesses
yeah,
that are I feel like some are and some aren't. Some people really
yeah,
like
oh yeah,
actually both have the chemical problems and the biological problems too. But definitely, we've
hmm
talked
Oh
about that a
yeah.
lot on this podcast, how a lot of people who
Mm-hmm.
repress not just the dark sides like we're talking about today,
oh yeah,
but their abilities altogether, their energy work, the idea that they're an empath, they suppress all of that too. A lot of people do.
hmm
um
oh yeah. But through that, they can actually find your true self through meditation and through the shadow work. I mean, I know, like, I found abilities that I didn't think I had through like shadow work and
Mm-hmm.
you know becoming more powerful in myself, and you know with speaking to spirits and um you know
I have a question for you. Can you give an example of like a meditation you might do for somebody who's listening? Like, when you meditate, do you imagine like you're in a place? Do you picture yourself some like in a meadow, or what do you do in your meditation for shadow work? For an example, some people never even meditated or tried to. Although I personally think
Mm-hmm.
when we space out, we're all meditating, but
right.
sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm saying like for you, what would you imagine when you're meditating? What is it like for you, especially when you're doing shadow work? What's the first step for you? But if
So
let's say you're starting out, for someone who's starting out, how would
starting
you? Yeah.
starting out, do not focus on your third eye because I did and I freaked out.
There's a good piece.
I
Good
freaked
piece of
out
advice.
so bad. I was like, I did a third eye meditation. My very first meditation was a third eye meditation. I went completely paralyzed. I was like like sleep paralysis almost.
Yeah.
It freaked me out, and then I kinda got up, and after I counted down from 7, because that's what the book said, and then I got out of it, and then I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna read about my third eye," and then I realized, "Don't open your third eye until you're ready," and I was not ready, like, at all. Even for astral travel, I wasn't ready, um, until I continued to meditate and focus on my fears and focus on myself. But anyway, so first thing, when you're meditating, take yourself to a happy place. Create it, do it like whatever it takes to make you happy in that place, create it. I started in a forest and I just imagined myself like on a warm summery day. Nobody's around. It's just me in this forest. And a little deer comes up to me, and I'm just alone walking around in this forest. And I come out to see a beautiful little pond. And then I see my 2 kids playing there and stuff. And they're all happy go lucky, not acting like brats. And it's a good time, and it's just us, and it's quiet and lovely, and then I kinda go into this state of mind where I'm, like, at peace, and I always do my protection. I always imagine myself in a white, light, a white bubble, and even I've seen it too, like, when I astral project, I've seen myself, like, um, in in a white bubble. It's really cool. But, yes, and take
I
yourself.
have something too to say.
Yes.
Don't you think that, when you do the process of forgiving other people and yourself,
Mhm.
doesn't it make more room for you to concentrate on stuff like that?
Oh,
Doesn't it
yeah,
make it
because
easier?
those thoughts don't come up as often.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Like,
thinking.
Because they're
I would
repressed.
think about. Oh,
Yeah,
yes, exactly. Figure out all your repressed emotions and bring them to light. Start talking to yourself. Like I said, be crazy if you have to. But I used to think about my kid's father all the time until
yes,
I focused on him, and I was like, "I forgive you. I forgive me." And I didn't even have to do anything, but I forgive myself. Like, you know, I
But
you just
in
it's hard.
situations like that, especially with you and anyone who's, been
Mhm.
in love and it really didn't go well and there are children involved,
Yeah,
like, a lot of people would feel very bad for their children. They feel guilty because of this. They feel guilty because they don't have a father. They feel guilty for this and this and this and this. A
yeah,
mother. They don't have if they're the father taking care of the kids. It's their fault. It's their fault. You can look at those things. Maybe you're not
yeah,
thinking that all the time, but you're carrying that. If something like that is an
yeah,
example. So for you, you could go there
hmm
into your pond, and then you can what would you like imagine an old scenario, and then kind of like face it and like say, look, this is where I was hurt, stuff like that.
yeah. I kind of I start there in my happy place, and then I kind of as I'm calm. That's how I get calm in these meditations. And then I, go to the, thoughts like that, that I've had, you know, my kids needing a father. I'm like, I always would be like, you know, hurt by it. And then I realized that they don't need somebody who's gonna hurt their mom in front of them or hurt them
No,
or
no.
so
Mm-mm.
I'm okay with them just having me for now, and one day somebody's going to come along and treat me right and show them how it is to
A good
treat
Be a
a
real
example.
man.
woman.
The right example.
Example.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
And I'm
positive way to look at it. That's really positive. A lot of
right.
people are so beat up by what you've been through and what some people have
Oh
been
Yep,
through
yeah.
like that, that they have a hard
It's
yep.
time
it's hard.
getting away from the past and not thinking like they used to. But you've
You know what
Oh
able
yeah.
though?
to.
I did it. I
You
did it
did.
at 26. I did it. I was in
Yep.
a really bad relationship, and it was
Yeah.
starting to get really, really bad. And I got away from him because I didn't want
Yep.
my kids to see that. He wasn't the
Yep.
father; he was just a boyfriend. But
Right.
after that, when I was 26, I was your age, and that's when I met my husband now. and my kids were probably about the same age yours are. And
Yeah.
he stepped in and he like took care of me and he took care of my kids. Like he's
Yep.
my soulmate. He's
Mhm.
Yeah.
awesome. And so what I'm because it just reminds me of a time, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just telling you this because, you know, it's definitely out there and it's definitely possible and you will find
Oh, yeah.
the right one for you
Oh,
and your
yeah.
kids.
I'm not that's why, like, I you know, that's why I, like, through all of this, you know, I have a picture in my room that I did my first I'll show it to you, but I did my first, I took myself to my happy place, and I didn't have anything in this house. I left my ex-fiance with nothing. I didn't have a couch. I had the boys' toys, their clothes, and my clothes. Everything in my
Yeah.
house had been like, I got this, uh, with help from my loving grandmas. Thank you, grandmas. Um, but like I did my meditation and I went to Ross and I saw this picture and it was the exact scene in my head. And I was like, I gotta get it. I don't have the money, but I gotta get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then even before I started meditating, I got a picture that says, "Darling, you belong here," and it's up in my room, and I'll show it to you
Oh,
too. But I didn't even think about it. I was so heartbroken, and I was like, you know, I don't even know what to, like. And now I'm like, heck yeah, I belong here. I am living life. May not have much money, but I'm doing my thing, and I'm happy. Like I am so
good.
happy.
And the boys see that too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Well,
Even
her 1-year-old, is he one, the youngest one, the younger one?
2.
2. He gave me a reading at Amethyst Sage when I was
I
there
know
a
that's
minute. Yeah,
crazy.
and it was good. It was head on. Yeah.
He just
He
picked a card.
called out that I was a jeweler.
Yep,
He called out
he did.
that
He
Wow.
that
did.
I had
He's
presents to
Oh,
give,
yeah.
and he was on
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Thank,
Not a
thank
He
God
word
he
called
got
out
you for a
spoken.
mom.
Justin.
Yeah.
Called out Justin too.
Oh,
He's an
Yeah.
empath. Little boy is an empath.
Oh, he
He's
like
gonna
yeah,
be
well, he snuggled up to me right away after he saw that I was all into him. He's like, "All right, let's
Oh,
get together
yeah.
and play this game." He sat right next to me and showed
yeah.
me.
He is awfully sweet, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. Oh, Ashton or Reese? Reese?
Well, the oldest one is the one I connected with, but
That's the
I
one I
only
was
Yeah.
met
talking about who sat down
once.
next to me and showed me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's funny. He's cute. I he's gonna struggle a lot, but he's gonna get through it, and that's what makes me happy. Like I know he's really wanting a dad right now, and you know
Aw.
he had one with my ex fiance, and then you know that didn't go well. But um, and then my little 2-year-old, he loves his tarot cards. He wants to read tarot all the time. He doesn't even talk. I'm like, Reese, you don't freak me out.
Wow.
Okay.
It's
Oh
really
He's
yeah.
so funny.
fabulous. It's fascinating the way he just like
It is.
the
He's
way
so cool.
it's got the
They're both
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, children
You know what? That's awesome.
a lot of children have those like the eyes, especially babies and it's like up until 5 or 6, maybe 4 or 5, they have this look in their eyes like
Mhm.
they can like their eyes, it's almost like they have a million spots of light all through their eyes. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but they just like they're so deep and they go on and on. And as people get older, it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
that kind of like I'm seeing everything that's really there kind of look that, the babies and
Yeah.
younger kids,
Yeah.
that kind of like starts becoming more of a personality, like a personality comes in their eyes. Although there's always the personality, but you know what I mean? Like that starts getting covered up, like that goes away, but it's still there a
Right.
little bit. It's covered up, is what I feel like.
It's called ego.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's your consciousness, yourself, your ego is
Yeah.
coming in and being like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm a thing that's existing. Me, not that.
Yeah.
So
And it's so good to like when you start astral projecting and you start doing meditations on your past lives and stuff and you start seeing your, life's purpose and why you're here and some people are here to learn forgiveness and some people here are to learn patience and some people are here to learn,
both.
how to laugh. I don't
Yeah,
know.
really.
you know, I would love to have you back to do one on astral travel, to do a podcast on astral travel if you're interested.
Yes.
And maybe we can
Yeah.
invite your
Yeah,
teacher
you
who
read
taught
my
you.
mind.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. And as you know,
Yes.
we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, I guess. And I do want to say
Okay.
you have been an excellent guest. Thank you so much. And where can
Thanks.
people find you if they'd like to get a reading from you? Or do you have any way for them to
Amethyst
contact you?
Sage.
Amethyst Sage.
Yeah. Amethyst Sage. So a couple of things is center yourself through meditation. Self-compassion, remember that.
Yes.
Loving yourself is okay. Self-awareness, all the whatever qualities you deny in yourself, you start seeing it in other people and start focusing on those emotions, focus on those thoughts you have, and understand that, they're not right, and work on that. Self-honesty as well.
Self-honesty, self-compassion, and self-love. There's the
Love
goals for
it.
you, people. Homework.
Love it, love it.
Misty likes to assign homework. Misty, do you have homework for our
Yes.
listeners?
Your homework is to start forgiving somebody tomorrow, even if it's just one
Yes.
person. One person.
I like
Start
that.
forgiving
Yes.
tomorrow, and then
I
you
like
go from there.
I like that
Yes.
homework a lot. I will do
Yeah.
it.
And
Me too.
and honor all parts of yourself. Honor all parts of
Yes,
yourself.
I like that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
Even the
special.
ugly parts. Yes.
Start loving yourself more. Yeah,
And
definitely.
and I want to say to our listeners, thank you so much. I just appreciate you so much for even listening to our jabberwockies. Jabberwalking.
Yes.
Jabber, jabber, jabber.
You are truly loved.
We appreciate you so much. And if you want to be a guest, you can write me at Lisa at we'reallpsychic.com. It's LISA, and there's no apostrophe, like I said before, because the internet does not like apostrophes in URLs, but I'm sure you know that because you're a psychic. And you can visit the website, www.we'reallpsychic. I'm kind of building it still, haven't really done too much, but I'm thinking about making an app instead, so that might happen because I've done it before.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and any last words, everybody? Would you like to say goodbye?
Well, I
Goodbye.
enjoyed having you, Marissa.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you, Marissa. Thank you,
Bye.
Misty.